Well, just who the bloody hell do they think they are? Let's begin. Now, of course, we heard that energy prices will be falling again. Hooray! 7%. Which, while, don't get me wrong, every saving is nice, it's not too much to write home about it, is it? But it seems that all the councils out there have decided that now, in the middle of a cost of living crisis, would be the perfect time to push for something which will pee us all off. And if this article's anything to go by, then it's going to hit our wallets by quite a bit, because it says that a push for traffic fines to rise by £60. It's a whopping 74% hike. But not content with that, they're also pushing for special penalties for repeat offenders, despite a third of local authorities making huge surpluses that some can reveal. And of course, throwing their toys out of the pram in a tantrum is not fair! The Local Government Association has hit back at the Department for Transport over plans to curb their monster revenues, so they probably don't like that too much, I'm guessing. Ministers suggested that cash from traffic fines could be directed to the Treasury, no doubt of course, in a bid to try and sweeten them up to some sort of deal, no doubt, I'm guessing. But a letter from the LGA shared with the Sun blasted, fines are a crucial element of enforcement, providing the deterrent effect. Where enforcement has been introduced over time, compliance has increased and enforcement fallen. And where has been removed, no compliance has increased. They really do seem to be trying to get the point out there that they're trying to make a deterrent, whilst at the same time boosting their profits, I'm guessing. Councils also argue, though, that an increase in repeat offenders and people who pay fines early therefore just pay 50% of the penalty. Hang on a minute. That is not the case. I personally think of it as you get the fine and then you pay it, or it'll double if you don't pay it within a set period of time. That's how I look at it. But they, of course, don't like to say it that way, do they? But anyway, they say that shows they're regarded as an additional parking amenity. They have not finished it, because they also go on. They say higher fines for repeat offenders across all enforcement measures would help law-abiding drivers and other road users. Well, I personally think the only people that will help is the council themselves, eh? So why now then? Why do they think that now would be the perfect time? Well, they say that council bosses have said that fines have not increased since the year 2000. Adding a £70 fine when reduced to £35 when paid off within 14 days would be over £122 or £61 if it kept up with today's prices. No doubt, of course, due to a little thing called inflation, it's just one problem though in their eyes surely, and that is inflation doesn't increase at the same levels for all things, does it? And get this, many councils would welcome higher fines. Well, there's a surprise, eh? It says to provide stronger deterrent that increases compliance and possibly reduces overall revenues and therefore any surpluses. So hang on a minute there, what they're trying to say is that, I'm guessing anyway, if people park correctly and where they should do, then they were not going to get so many fines in. So therefore, in my eyes that is, they want to increase the fines and therefore keep their profit up to the same good old-fashioned levels, eh? Well, I think if anything, surely the government should give them a big virtual middle finger and say, no, up yours. They even clutch at all the straws and say in many places a £35 fine for 4-car passengers is cheaper than using public transport and not far off a full day's parking charge. So what have the government said about this? Well, Transport Secretary Mark Harper said that he wanted to address the suggestion that traffic management measures with penalty fees attached are there to raise money from motorists more than anything else. Should the government remove any suggestion there is a profit motive for local councils, such as by requiring any surpluses that councils might generate from new charges to be paid to His Majesty's Treasury after the costs of enforcement have been repaid, he asked. This seems an appealing solution, he says, and is effectively how speed and fines operate already, but are there any unexpected considerations that we should be considering? Well, yeah, actually. Whilst admittedly everyone should be parking correctly, and of course get back to their parking spaces within the designated time, there are a few people who, through no fault of their own, might be a bit delayed, and therefore any increases such as a whopping £60 is probably going to hit them quite hard, isn't it? Well, in my opinion anyway. But listen to this. The Department for Transport's call for evidence comes against the backdrop of the Prime Minister's push to win support for motorists through his government plan for drivers, which, if anything, raising fines probably isn't going to go down too well, eh? And all this apparently comes after more councils recently gained new powers to enforce moving traffic violations instead of the police. So, are they getting a bit power mad or something, it seems? And just what are these powers? Well, apparently councils outside of London can gain the power to fine drivers for breaking rules of the road, such as unlawfully entering into box junctions, driving in mandatory cycle lanes, and ignoring no entry or no left or right turn signs. So, surely, can't they just be satisfied with the extra income they're more than likely getting from that? Either way, though, yeah, I don't know about you, but now that we're in general election mode, if I was Rishi, I wouldn't be too keen on increasing these sort of fines, because it's only going to pee off your voters, isn't it? Which, correct me if I'm wrong, could be why that smoking bill, shall we say, is just fallen by the wayside, eh?